Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the back room of. Let me turn this off of my ear because this was loud. Welcome to another session of After Stream. Welcome to another session of After Stream, another evening of After Stream. Yes, the time is a little bit different, a little bit changed. One, because the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight was something I was holding back on because there's different levels to this particular topic, and then something else hit the news with the particular topic of Ghana. So something else other than Ghana in terms of what they're developing hit the news. Well, the Ghana president hit the news, and we're going to talk about that as soon as we get up. But because there's so much uh, in the news today, and I said, wow, I'm gonna have to do extra time. There's so much in the news. However, I'm gonna focus on Ghana, and I'm gonna take an extended amount of time. Definitely going to take an extended amount of time, and I'm going to take my time on this because you got Ethiopia in the news, you got Nigeria in the news, you have Uganda going through something with China in the news, and then you have South Africa in the news. And I may do another segment tomorrow just to cover that information. But tonight, we're definitely going to take our time. And again, if you saw the topic, we're going to talk about the African Man of the Year. If Pan Africanism had a face, right? Akufo-Addo, president of Ghana, it would be his face, right? President of Ghana, it would definitely be his face. Now, as we always say, if you're watching After Stream on Facebook, please, those like, comment, share. It is definitely how we grow, we connect, and as a community, and build as a community. We have to remember that this is what it's all about, which is building as a community. And if you're watching us on DaAfrican Speaks via YouTube, hit subscribe, click the bell so that you can get all the time we when anytime we're programming and every time we go live, you'll get a notification that we go live. And that's important because AfterStream is a part of a group or conglomerate of live streams where we are focusing on accessing the community, bringing our community together, improving upon our relationship with one another and our collective Pan African perspective on all levels. So please do, you get a chance, support our other platforms, which is AfterStream. We have AfterStream. Then you'll have the on Sunday, which is a Keebaland Inspirational Sundays. You also have the African Speaks on Thursday, the Tuesday night at 7. You have, excuse me, you have that at 7. You have history class at 1 on Saturdays, and then you have African spirituality class on Saturdays as well. We have tons of other programs coming up, and we ask you to be a part of all the programs that we are bringing you. We're creating an experience where we are must see live stream. If you are about the Pan African community, you're about the growth of the Pan African community. We are trying to create must see live stream. And if there is anything that you want to bring to the people, let us know. Hit us up. I think my email was on the other one. Yeah, because we had would join our Zoom audience. Contact us at info at wota.l .atl.org. Sorry, info at woatl.org is the email name. All right. So if you can get to us on that. Now tonight, again, we are connecting all of our programming, even though our programming hits different levels and different ranges and different angles of Pan Africanism, right? Black consciousness. We're still focused on one particular topic, and that is the rise of the African. Yes, that is the rise of the African. And what we want to make sure and be aware of is that everything we do is about developing a greater sense of who we are as a people. So everything connects to the rise of the African. Now, with the concept of the rise of the African, and we gonna go in. I already got the slogan for 2022. Y'all get ready, because there's going to be some movement coming in 2022. There are going to be some alliances developed in 2022. There are going to be some more programs given out on 2022. Woo! There's going to be some gatherings in 2022. There's a lot coming. Why? Because we're geared up for the rise of the African. And we say the rise of the African is a social media Pan African movement. Yes, we are looking at the Garvey mission, meaning bringing black people together under an umbrella. And of course, for us, the umbrella for us is the world of Akibaland, WAATL.org. If you haven't checked the website out, take a look at it. We are building, connecting inside and outside of the United States. We're trying to connect all around the diaspora. We're trying to bring a new vision for black youth for their future. Ain't that something? Not to be an employee or a rich slave, which is some of us, have become, but to understand that the Creator is calling us back together as a people. Rise of the African. And so this is why tonight is particularly special, because we're going to be talking about the African of the year. Wow. The African of the year. Now, not only am I got the name I Jade African, right? The African. And I had a brother in my community call me one time, one love to him, and challenged me on the fact that he thought he was the African, right? And I said we all are. It depends on how much we commit to the liberation of black people, not only just in our communities where we are touching one person at a time, one family at a time, one neighborhood at a time, you know what I mean, one state at a time. We just trying to move forward. But it's also one nation at a time. And so when I said we all are the African, when you submit to who God called you to be. But then when you got white folks, Forbes Africa, given the African of the Year award to President Akufo-Addo, right? You have to take a look and take your time and take a look at what are they seeing when they say African of the Year. When you're talking about looking at black leadership, I posted something where it said, if Pan Africanism had a face, where's that at? I had it somewhere around here. There we go. Yeah. If Pan Africanism had a face, this is what it would look like today. And I was holding out on doing this particular stream on Ghana because I wanted to talk about the return cities. What Ghana is creating in terms of the return cities, but it's more than just the return cities. The return cities of Ghana is just indicative of who this man is and what his cabinet has been creating. So not only do we want to talk about the president, we want to be able to bring about the country, and then the fact that now it's been rated that Ghana is the eighth largest African economy on the continent. So we want to take a look at this in multiple ways, and I was going to take my time to break this down because this is important. If you want to know what leadership is not somebody that just sits in a position. No, it's what they do with the position that they're sitting in. And then it's the vision. It's a shared vision, not only just of the leader himself, but it's the shared vision of a people and how influential that individual is to get the people to fight for that vision. That's leadership. That's when you know how well do you know if God is working with you. When the African in you rises up and you create an experience where you realize that you are more than just yourself. It's more than just you. You are sharing your vision and the vision of others, and people see it and they come together to work hard for it. Wow. That means there's something passionate inside you that people could feel. Wow. And so what do? They dub you the African of the Year. Wow. Ghana making moves. I have a friend, and I don't know if she's gonna want me to say her name, But she's been talking about Ghana for a long time, and I didn't understand why Ghana, 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 Ghana. Until I sat down and said, "Well, you know what? Maybe the universe is asking me to take a dive in." And this was before I created AfriStream. Now, AfriStream was always in the back of my mind, right? And I said, "Okay, now I got to start getting deeper, deeper, deeper into Pan African news." Pan African information and being able to give you a broader perspective on what things look like and what things are. And so when she was like Ghana, 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 I called her after I did my research and I said, "Yo, this serious. Ghana making serious moves." And so it gave me the understanding on how to build the platform of AfriStream. What am I going to be focused on? How I'm going to be pinpointing the things that I want to talk about. Now, tonight is a collaboration of multiple videos. All right. And I get them from multiple sources. Two not what Africa is watching is one of them, and then of course YouTube. You can find multiple channels and multiple information on YouTube. One of the things that I want to say is President Ado was here even in Atlanta because I'm in Atlanta. He was here in Atlanta, and he had a conversation with the individuals in Atlanta, and I believe that was back in 2019, where he discussed, literally discussed, his programs for Pan Africanism with the Black Caucus of Legislators here. And that I didn't. That is not going to be a part of this particular stream. But if you want to go take a look at it, what he talks about is powerful. He talked about. He made the statement that it doesn't matter. It was a Jamaican artist who sang the song, and oh man, I wish I should have wrote it down, and I didn't. The Jamaican artist's name, where he said, "It doesn't matter where you are. If you black, you African. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're black, I'll get the artist's name in a few minutes. You're African." And that's clear. And as much as we are depicted as though that they are they create separatism. The media creates separatism between American blacks and Africans. They make sure that there's a separate wall. They make sure they give us depictions of primitive living, primitive thinking, primitive way of life. They make sure that so that we don't have that desire to connect. We said, well, we will always get them to connect to their. We can't stop them from connecting to their culture because they're called African Americans now. I say, well, if you don't have a Pan African mindset, you're actually an American African. You're more American than you are African, but you do have African in your blood. Now, when you want to flip that over, that's up to you. That's only a conscious state of being, you right? And so let us enjoy ourselves as we take a look at the African of the year.
Ghana President Nana Akufo-Addo has formally received the African of the Year award from Forbes Africa magazine. He was presented with the award on Thursday by the management of the magazine. The president took to his Twitter page to announce the good news by sharing photos of top executives of Forbes presenting him with the award and a framed photo of the magazine cover that was unveiled during the ceremony. In its latest edition, which was unveiled on Friday, the magazine explained that Ghana's president has repositioned the country in the global marketplace as one reliant on its own resources and strengths.
Now I want to talk about what he just said. Repositioned Ghana as a country that is reliant on its own everything, where they have kicked off colonialism and the influences on the influences from European countries in terms of the decisions they decide to make. African countries are slowly putting people out, saying, look, these are the things that we can do, and we can do them on our own, and we're going to do them according to how we see fit. And we're not. And then once you have a Pan-African perspective, an international perspective, you realize how powerful you can be, how strong you can be. And everything that this brother has done has been not just for the benefit of Ghana, not just for the continent of Africa, but also for the African diaspora. And then the imagination of the focal point of his cabinet. And that's another thing you got to take, you take a look at when you, as we go through this tonight. I want you to look at, try to place yourself in the mindset of a free black man and a free black woman, and where they are nothing but individuals that sit around them that have the imagination of the future. Let's take that back. The imagination of the present. Future's not here yet. It's going to come when it comes. What you do today is what matters. What you do right now is what matters. In African spirituality, you should make sure that you're there on Saturday. When African spirituality, the sasa is most important. If you're sitting home doing nothing during COVID, and you consider yourself leadership of a particular area, community, or position, or even just your household, and you've come out no better than you went in, that means something's wrong with your imagination of what people can do with technology. Ain't that something? Or your fearlessness to grow is an issue. He's not dealing with just his household. He's dealing with a whole nation during COVID, where he had some time. He says, "I'm trying to move forward." He says he has 8 years. Well, let's let this finish. Let's go.
Africa and Forbes Africa to actually present to you the African of the Year trophy that we have here with us. Basically, I mean, we took that decision based on your visionary leadership, especially based on economic policies. I mean, just to mention a few in a nutshell: Ghana Beyond Aid, how to develop Ghana with its own raw material, adding value to the industries, etc., etc. I was here when COVID started and I got locked down here. I mean, I'm usually based in Lagos, but I got locked down here for 6 months. Every week we were watching your, I call them the fellow Ghanaians speech, that was actually extremely precise and gave a lot of clarity about the different decisions making that needed to be done during the pandemic. So many other policies like the year of the return, that now it's becoming beyond the return, which is long-term policies to develop the tourism sector.
I don't know if you was, the year of the return. So 2019 was considered the year of return in Ghana. Now, I don't know if y'all knew, if y'all remember, if y'all clicked, 2019 was the quadcentennial, which is the 400 years. 400 years that we've been on this soil. 400 years of slavery, exactly. And so 2019, Ghana said this is the year of return. They understood that. They said, so we are creating a movement that will be focused on bringing the African diaspora of those who want to come home back home. Ooh. That's segment number 2 in this. We got 3 segments here. So yeah, this is going to be a good one. Let's take it. Let's keep listening.
The AFCFTA is now here and makes Ghana the trade capital for Africa. Twitter came here as well for a reason and based their headquarters in Ghana. The healthcare sector, you want to make Ghana a hub with the Agenda 111, etc. The same for education, and then just to mention one more of your policies, everything you're doing to stimulate the young entrepreneurship, that already makes Ghana up in terms of technology, etc. So, like Mr. Dangote was saying recently, Africa needs visionary leaders like yourself, and again, congratulations to be the African of the Year for 2021 for Forbes Africa and also CNBC Africa, and thank you very much.
Now, he said, your vision, because you're visionary. Woo. That's another point of leadership. You can see things that has not come yet, and it's in your mind's eye, your third eye, and then you can manifest the things around you to let them come true. Wow. Wow. I've only seen one of those in my life. I guess he's the second. Yes. First one was Jemoja Bebe Ajiman. And it took time for the vision to come through. Now, this brother's only had 8 years. 8 years of leadership in Ghana. Now, of course, he started living his life before then. But the minute he came in power within his, and it ain't even 8 years yet. Ain't even 8 years yet. But he said within 8 years, well, you got to look. But the vision to be able to manifest the things that you want to manifest according to your imagination. I always tell people the African came about because he knows how to create something out of nothing. That's when you know. That's when you're sure. When you can create something out of nothing. Now, the nothingness, which is the imagination of God. Wow. So even in that nothing is everything. Let's look.
In his speech after the Forbes Africa team led it expanded on the reasons for choosing him as Person of the Year, the president dedicated the award to the people of Ghana first before members of government and himself.
What can I say? I'm extremely honored, very flattered by this award. And the way you've presented it shows that you've been looking at what we've been doing here in Ghana. Perhaps for me, that's the most comforting aspect. Because a lot of the time when you're in the midst of doing things, you don't know to what extent other people are taking note of what you're doing. But it appears that you have a very good grasp of all the various things we're trying to do to develop our country and move it forward. I have a maximum of 8 years to try and make an impact on this country. So it's been something that has been a very important inspiration for me to get things, as many things on the ground as possible. But I'm happy that it's produced this result. Basically, it is a result about the work of my government, not just myself, but all the various people who have been assisting me, and also about the population, the Ghanaian people, who have made these choices and have been very supportive of the work that I do. So I'm looking upon this prize or this commendation as one for Ghana, one for my government, and lastly for myself. But I have to confess that it's something very overwhelming for me, and I appreciate it very much. But on behalf of all these people, on behalf of the people of Ghana, on behalf of my government, myself, I want to say a very big thank you to you and the members of your board for making this selection. And hopefully the rest of the work that we have to do before my time is up will not disappoint you and will only go to enhance the accuracy of your choice that you have done. But it's highly appreciated, and thank you very much indeed.
The Forbes African of the Year award is always given to an African with global reputes, a visionary who is willing to bring serious reforms to the country he lives in. The 2021 edition is the 4th year of the award. Akufo-Addo joins an elite club of his peers in Africa who have been internationally recognized for their work.
Now, this award is maybe the 4th, right? Of course, he said, I thank you for the people of Ghana, because I'm elected. When you know that it's real leadership when the people want you there. Woo! When the people want you where you are, because you see the vision is directly into the people. Says, look, it's just not me. First, it's the people. Because whatever vision they have, I share. And it's them. It's about them. It's not about me. It's about the people. Then, wait, let's talk about the people around me that put that work in. I might be the spokesperson of the peace, but they're the one who put the work in on behalf of the vision of who? The people. And I just try to keep them in line and orchestrate and delegate and push. That's real when as leadership. Now, when we take a look at and he said I got a maximum of 8 years to make an impact on not only my country, but Africa as a whole, and watch what happens in the Pan African world because it's a move. It's a move, and then we want to show the company that he keeps. Wow, that's something different too.
Among those who congratulated Ghana's president were President of African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, former President of the Republic of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. According to Dr. Adesina, President Akufo-Addo is an embodiment of a remarkable can-do African spirit.
Now, Adesina, Dr. Adesina, oh, he has an Afro stream coming too. We have a couple of them up there that have Afro streams coming too. Rwanda, Afro stream coming too. Yes, I'm building on those. So we are aware of these international figures that can affect global impact. What? Global impact. There's a sister in my community. Her name is Ayana. And we call her Little Ayana because we have three Ayanas in our community. And she's the youngest one. And she said, we have to be careful as a Pan African community that we're not the only thing out there that's talking about the liberation of black people. There are other areas and other places that are focused on the liberation of black people. And they are not only focused, but they're driving. It's their driving point. Everything they do is just the driving point. And we have other places that we can buy into emotionally, buy into spiritually, buy into mentally, buy into financially in terms of growth. And so, he keeps there is a company of Afrocentric, strong-minded individuals because it's not just men, it's not just women. This is a people now. This is a movement of a group of people coming from the continent, from across the Atlantic, saying, "Look, we can hear y'all. You can hear your spirits. We can see your suffering." Not only that, it's a statement, and we're going to talk about this because South Africa is going through this when it comes to COVID. They want to be able to create their own vaccines. We don't want to be able to have to inject something that you created. Give us the ingredients, let us study it, and let us make sure that this is something that we want. And we're going to make sure that every African is vaccinated. But we want to be able to produce ourselves. Why? Because we have them. We have the labs. We have the genius. We have everything that's needed. So we shouldn't just. It's like somebody giving you a container of milk and you not knowing that it's milk. Well, we got cows too. Why do I got to drink your cow's milk? Why can't I just get my cow, milk my cow, and drink my cow's milk? Now, if you want to help me, because this is humane, this is an issue of humanity, give me the ingredients and let us produce it ourselves. Because Ghana is dead set, and that was the conversation they had in 2019 or no 2020, where they came to Atlanta and talked to the Black Caucus, and he was making a statement that we are going to be able to produce our own vaccines for African people. Period. What? That's to understand what's happening around us. Period. Yes, for those who are just joining, we are talking about the African of the year. If Pan Africanism had a face, yes, it's Akufo Addo, the president of Ghana. So much more to talk about. Let's go. Where we at? Where we at? Right here. We need to talk about that one. I'm gonna jump it right here so y'all can see this, and you want you to see this,
The
right?
president of the U.S.
Oh,
National Bar Association, Judge Carlos E. Moore, also presented a Lifetime Achievement Award to Ghana's president in recognition of his initiative to provide free quality education to students, which will help with the broader development of Ghana.
now, whoo, that is reason enough for the African of the Year. Just all that he's done in the continent of, the country of Ghana. Reason enough. But we want to go down to details. We just went past phase one. We want to go down to details to phase two. We want to look at, okay, this we see, we saw the award. Now we want to understand the reason behind the award. And we saw it briefly and what was being said and what was being done. Briefly. So there was a Afro stream that was being created where we were gonna talk about what they call the Wakanda return cities. And so 2019 was called the year of the return. And so there was a project that created in Ghana. There's a project that they created in Ghana where they're building return cities for all of the African diaspora. Ain't that something? Did you know that? I've been talking about it. I told you it's coming. So we're going to watch this one again. We're going to sit and ride this because we here for a minute because we're going to understand what is happening around us. And again, Ghana's not the only one. Ghana's not the only continent. The country on the continent. It's not the only one. He's not the only one who was in the UN arguing for reparations for black people all across the globe. What? He's not the only one. And that's the part we got to get to the point of. At one point, certain organizations believed that they were the only voice. No, not no more. There's stronger powers out here who are saying, look, we here with you. Now it's up to us on this side of the pond to create a voice just as strong as the voice on the other side of the pond. This is a Pan-African perspective. We got to be able to create a greater voice so that not only it is heard across the pond, but it's felt in a way that connects with the true possibility of change of black life on an international scale, where we are no longer on the bottom, but we are now redeemed by all issues of colonialism. What? And slavery. What? Have y'all not been listening to these African leaders? What? There's some powerful stuff going on. Let's take a look at what's next.
The Wakanda City of Return project has been officially launched in Ghana, and the project is expected to be a legacy of Ghana government's Year of Return and beyond the return tourism initiatives. Officials of Ghana and the city of Cape Coast has signed a memorandum of understanding with the African Diaspora Development Institute, ADI, and two local companies to pave way for the creation of an ultra-modern smart city to be known as the Wakanda City of Return. The partners for the multi-billion project desire to create a place of pilgrimage for the people of African descent, as well as other tourists to know about the history, culture, the civilization of Africa, and its role in the creation of the New World economy. The ultra-modern edifice modeled around the architecture of the Wakanda city as exhibited in the famous Black Panther movie is expected to attract many across the globe to Ghana. It will also be a center for teaching the history of the black race.
Now, I'm hoping y'all getting this. I'm hoping y'all getting this. After the movie dropped, they sat down and said we can make this a reality. Again, we're talking about the African of the Year, President Akufo-Addo of Ghana. We're talking about the African of the Year, for y'all to know how big this is. When they sit down and said, look, we a multi-billion-dollar project in Ghana where they already have the land, layout, everything. They got they start construction. This past December, between the 2nd and the 12th, they had an expo for Wakanda One. I was like, man, one of these days I'm gonna get my bags. I got to go. I got to go. If they have another one next year, I got to be there. And ADA, which is the group that's helping forge this, they have a where they're asking African Americans all around the globe, look, we just need $87 a month to support this movement where you can end up with housing and land, a place to live, work, eat. What? Now you understand why he's the African of the Year, because he said I had a vision and I didn't stop until I'm not going to stop. I got 8 years. It's different when you feel like you got your whole life to live, to manifest your legacy. But he said, I got 8 years. And in these 8 years, I'm going to make a dent, a major dent. Me, the people that are around me, and the people of my country going to make a dent in life for black people. Check it.
The building of the city is in line with the many tourist sites in the region which attract a lot of foreigners. The city of Cape Coast in Ghana's central region is widely known as the nation's tourism hub and the Mecca for African descent in the diaspora. Every year, thousands of black people across the world visit the city and other historic slave sites to learn about the transatlantic slave trade. The region was the hotbed of the slave trade that saw millions of Africans uprooted to the New World. The coastal region has a number of castles and dungeons that were used to keep enslaved men and women for days before they were transported to the Americas to work on various plantations. The Wakanda City of Return is set to change the coastlines of Cape Coast with the construction of 5-star hotels, heritage walkway, retreat and health resort, conference centers, and the continental corporate headquarters of African Diaspora Development Institute. Her Excellency Ambassador Ericana Chiambori Kwao, the former African Union representative to the United States and the president of African Diaspora Development Institute, praised Honorable Ernest Arthur, the mayor of Cape Coast, for his commitment in ensuring that this project comes to realization. She disclosed her readiness to mobilize funds for the construction to begin as soon as possible. Here are some of her comments for the project.
Now, woo! Wait till the sister drop this. I'm gonna let y'all feel his spirit. I'm not gonna now. I gotta stop now because I'm not gonna intervene with the sister. So this is gonna be, y'all gonna get 7 minutes of this sister. 7, because well I might. But this sister powerful, and she was clear. I know why I am here. I know why you are here. I know why we are here. And if you look at what's going on in Ghana, oh. Even a place for African studies, American studies. Why? Because we don't want you to come over here and not understand where you're coming from. They're asking for us. Ain't that something? And so as African Americans, and we sitting there, we are most of the time asking for them too. What? So now what happens when a Pan-African organization meets a Pan-African government? Wow. What could happen then? Wow. So as much as we have individuals over here pushing, man, there better be a push or movement or a fight to connect with these governments that are trying to make a difference. Why? Because that's a coalition that the world just can't stop. I'm ready to be a part of that coalition. Right. So, World of Akiba Land, and I hope y'all been watching the African Speaks on Tuesday night at 7, because we've talked about this. That shared identity. We talked about this. What does it take for a black man? We sorry about that. To take over his slave ship and row us back to Africa. What does that take? Well, they said, you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna have you row yourself. We're gonna create the ship. We're gonna create the ship and come get you. Wow. And so the president of Cape Coast said, look, I mean the mayor, here, let me give you this land, 5,000 acres. That sounds like familiar to me. 5,000 acres to create a city. Wow. And she said, we don't even have to go asking for money because we are rich people across the globe. Wow. And so she's ready to fundraise, and that's what she's doing. We're gonna talk about that in this. Well, is that one in this one? No, that one is not in this one. That was in the fourth one. I didn't add that, but we'll discuss it. Let's take a look.
My name is Ambassador Arikana Chiombori Kwao. I'm the former African Union Ambassador to the United States and the founder and president of African Diaspora Development Institute, an institute that was designed to be the bridge between the people of Africa in the diaspora and the African continent. We are here today to celebrate a momentous occasion, an occasion that has been called upon by our very own President Nanado. After having declared 2019 the year of return, millions of you flocked to Ghana last year, 2019, and you paid homage to our beloved continent. For those of you who are not aware that of the 80% of the slaves that left West Africa for the Americas, they were pulled into Ghana, and they left Ghana through two ports. One port was at Cape Coast. They called them castles, we call them dungeons. Those who went to North America, they were pulled around the Cape Coast area. And those who were taken to the Caribbean and South America were pulled at the Elmina dungeons. President Nanado felt very strongly that in order for us to complete the journey of healing, let's have a follow-up city, follow up to the year of return, which was 2019, a place that we can say the children of Africa, descendants of the formerly enslaved, can complete the journey of coming back home. Let us look at the slavers and those who have sought to oppress the Africans and people of African descent around the globe. While they may have succeeded for over 400 years, today marks the beginning of the end, where we can look at them in the face and say, once again, we are the victors. When the descendants of the formerly enslaved can find themselves owning a home, living in Cape Coast, the very last place that their ancestors last set foot on the African soil, the descendants of the formerly enslaved can stand up and look across the Atlantic and say, once again, we are back home. And we are going to honor our ancestors by reminding them, while that it may have taken us centuries to accomplish this mission, finally, we can say the mission is accomplished. We are here to talk about the establishment of the Wakanda City of Return in Cape Coast, starting with the very place that our ancestors were taken out of our beloved continent. We could not have found a better place and a more appropriate place to start and build the first Wakanda City of Return. We are very grateful to the mayor of Cape Coast, who has allowed us and welcomed us as ADDI to come in and join and partner with the city as well as the country of Ghana to realize this dream.
I want y'all to see if y'all picked that up. She said the first city, because you know that one city can't hold the whole diaspora if the diaspora decides to come. And with the way thing has been happening here, with those who are seasoned and the finances and the foundation to move, would they move? Then wait till you see what's coming up next, where they're going after those who are of youthful spirit because of the infrastructure of the whole nation of Ghana is under massive development. This is real. This is good. Now, if they can do it over there, what is it taking us so long to do it over here? She said it took centuries to do what? Break a mindset of colonialism. I hope you've been looking at African Speaks, because it is the mindset of colonialism that is keeping us down. It is like we live in a state of a gray area where we don't know if we're American or if we're African. And our American is greater than our African. But so what we subject ourselves to systematic oppression. They're clear. We know what colonialism has done because we live in a nation that we don't control, and we're it's our nation, and so we built this one. So you see the comparisons, but they're able to sit down and make a statement to say, you know what, we need to come together and make some real changes. Now we are able to create our own hospitals. We are able to create our own grocery stores. We are able to create our own farms, our own transportations. We don't do it as a community. We've done it as individuals where we got more black, rich individuals than we've ever had in this country. But that doesn't mean we have the infrastructure as a community. And that's where we're failing, but that's where they're succeeding. Let's continue. Pan African perspective. Today we're talking about the African of the Year. And now we're learning about why they called him the African of the Year. Let's go.
Realize a dream that should have been realized a long time ago. The return of the children of Africa, the acknowledgement of the children of Africa, and giving them a home, particularly starting with Ghana, is a dream that's way past due, but nonetheless, a dream that is now being realized. I am so pleased and honored to welcome all of you to the program that's going to be unveiling what we are calling phase one of the Wakanda City of Return. We're counting on all of you to pay close attention to what is going to be said today. There will be follow-up meetings monthly to update you about what is going on and the progress that we are going to be making. This is a city that must be built by the children of Africa, for the children of Africa. We are not going to go begging around the world. We are asking all of you to realize that this is the beginning of turning a new page in the history of Africa. We do not need aid. We are very wealthy people if we come together. This city is demanding that we as Black people around the world, we must speak with one voice. We must come together and let the world know once again that only the children of Africa are going to take Africa back to her former glory. Only the children of Africa are going to take Africa back to where we were once the center of the world. Only the children of Africa are going to take Africa back to where we were the owners. We built the houses we lived in, and we owned the brickyard. We sewed the clothes we wore, and we owned the textile mill. We flew in aeroplanes, and we built the aeroplanes, and we owned the airport. We built the railway lines, and we owned the railway lines, and we drove the trains. I am talking about an Africa that is in total control of her economy. That Africa is yet to be built. That Africa is demanding that no more colonization. That Africa is saying the wishes of our Pan-African fathers, starting back to 1963, must be realized. Today, my brothers and sisters, we begin that journey of turning over a new leaf, of building the Africa that we want, of building a sustainable Africa for us, by us. The Wakanda City of Return could not have come at a better time. Please allow me and join me in thanking President Nanado for giving us this opportunity to continue the journey of healing, the journey of repatriation of our children who have been lost in the wilderness for far too long. Thank you, President Nanado. Thank you, Mayor of Cape Coast. Thank you, the King of the Kingdom of Abakase. Thank you, Nana Abakase, and everybody involved in making this event a success. We look forward to continued deliberations, and we look forward to seeing you every month as we update you on the progress of this beautiful city of Wakanda. Thank you again.
Now, woo. So, she said 1963 was the focus of when this came out. 1963. Now, I'm not the historian just yet. I will be, because God is working with me. I got time, I hope. But with the time I do have, I'm going to sit down and always make sure that we are understanding that this is about us becoming a people Again, we're talking about the rise of the African and on all levels, a social media Pan African movement. And we are here celebrating the African of the Year. And with this conversation, you heard about the Wakanda, and what does that mean to you that you have a country over the seas since 1963 had a vision? Now I belong to a church myself, organization myself that has a vision of creating one of those type of Wakanda cities, and we've been working on this for some years. We have 5,000 acres just like they do for some years, years, years. And so we are in the process. We've owned the land for the last 20 years. The new vision of how to once we got the land, that was the thing, because they were already on their land. We had to get it. Once we raised the money to get it, now the issue is what's the next vision to manifest this city, and that's the visionary part. And as for the blessing that is ours as a people, God is not going to just give it to one person. God is going to give this vision to multiple individuals and say, look, this is my will, and I need someone to implement it. And you watch, they said, Ghana's becoming that country where it's 100% independent economically on all the things that it does for itself and for those who left. Wow. He is the president, says I got 8 years to make it, the minimum of 8 years to make a maximum of 8 years to make an impact. Wow. And so I'm going to make this impact, and since day one, this is what he's been doing. And he's made sure that the individuals around him are not just individuals who will follow what he says, but they have a vision within themselves that connect with the greater vision. I didn't see any do boys or do girls. Yeah, meaning that I do what you tell me. No, I see the vision too, and I'm gonna do what I'm called. Wow. In that, if you ever had a vision of the liberation of black people, you do what you're called. Whether you and the leadership get along or not, there's a greater thing at risk here, which is our freedom. We have a lot of people, and I've known several people who said it's time for me to go. Why? Because I can be fulfilled in a different country. Now, I'm one that says I can't leave the people behind. We built this nation, so why can't we continue building on the nation? But that takes leadership and vision, and people with a vision, and people with the drive to make it happen. They're using all the efforts of technology that they have at their works, everything that they have, and it is no holds barred. Why? Because this is our time. This is our time. You don't take COVID and take a break during COVID because you can't go outside. No, that means you master technology and produce something that the world can see because there's no boundaries via the internet. Wow. At least not yet. Because after a while, World of Akiba Land, it is our mission to raise up a cyber strong black youth. Man, I told y'all there's going to be some serious things going on next year for World of Akiba Land, which is something that is also supported by Afrostream. So we're going to ask you that, you always do that with us. So connect on the multiple programs. But this is about the man, the African of the Year. And so when individuals are writing about the African of the Year, they're not writing about somebody that tap dances to the to the rhythm of colonialism. They're not talking about somebody that tap dances to the mark of slavery. There's somebody that not just speaks of liberation, but actually knows what it means to build a coalition that responds to a vision where individuals are sparked by the creator. Sparked. Sparked by the creator. That third eye opens and they produce as a group. Wow. Understand what's happening around you. I told you we're going to take our time with this one. There's another aspect. So now you saw the man, right? You saw the vision for the diaspora, right? Now, the third aspect of this is to show you what Ghana has been doing within Ghana. Yeah. And this may not speak on this particular clip coming up will not speak on the city of return. No, this is about the infrastructure of a country preparing itself for global power. Wow. They are already the eighth largest. We said it earlier, the eighth largest economy in the continent. You got Rwanda fighting. Man, you got Uganda dealing with China because China's trying to control Uganda by taking over the airport. We're gonna talk about that later too. But Uganda's saying never gonna happen. But there's so much going on. You have what was it? It's an oil company, and I'm trying to remember the country because I didn't write this down. This is at the top of the head. Taking over, paying people off. Canadian oil company in one of the countries in Africa, who's illegally drilling in wildlife reserve areas illegally to find oil illegally, and they're giving people jobs to keep it hushed. What? Colonialism for the sake of capitalism, greed. Yeah, we got to be careful with that. We definitely got to be careful how that happens or what happens there. We can't let them continue this. But we are not dealing with that when we are dealing with power. So y'all can see it. If Pan Africanism had a face, it is definitely President Akufo-Addo of Ghana. Ain't that something? That's exactly what we're talking about. The African of the Year. I would love to have an experience where I'm considered to be the African of the Year. I did get me a community service award. Yep, the largest that my community offers. I did do that. You know what I mean? Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what I credit it to is Mafundo Labayo, who gave me that phrase. We need those Africans who are not afraid to take over a slave ship and row us back to Africa. Then she looked at me and she said, Jay, are you the African? And I turned and I said, I am the African. And I went to work from that point on. That's what we need in a community. That what makes him the African of the Year, because he's taking the leash of colonialism and the mark of slavery off of his people, and he's saying go get them. And what resources do we need to help you? You heard her what she said. She said we don't need to beg people. We don't need to get loans from other countries. As a people across the globe, we can produce more money than anybody. I wonder what your Oprahs are doing. Did Oprah drop, a couple of million? We don't know. Did Mayweather, Money Mayweather, did he drop a couple of million? Did Tyler, has Tyler dropped his millions? We can go on and on. Did Denzel? How about what's the Drake? Did anybody drop their millions to continue building and understand? Look at what we do with our money, which is take care of ourselves. Well, I can't knock. LeBron is sending kids to educating kids. He got schools and kids are going to college for free. Wow. So imagine you have a generation of knowledge and a country saying, come and create the empire of a black nation. Wow. Imagine that. Imagine those two coming together. Imagine the world of Akibaland, which is the manifestation of AfriStream, one of the things of the Educated African. This is one we support. Imagine the world of Akibaland maintaining and manifesting that online K through 12 educational system. We're working on it. And highly technological STEM labs. We're working on it. Told you there's gonna be so much change in next year. Whoo! I'm just here go pebbles. Woo! I'm throwing a little pebble. Man, I'm going after next year. Whoop! They talk about woo. I'm gonna design the slogan. But it's about being the African of the Year. So let's take a look and see what Ghana has done with the infrastructure of the country now. Can they build a city? Well, let's see what they've done with the country that they live in. So we can maintain and sustain a country. We can definitely build a city. Let's find this one. Up next.
As a developing nation, Ghana's focus on infrastructure growth is aimed at driving socio-economic development and enabling greater productivity within the various sectors of the economy. The annual infrastructure funding gap is estimated at $1.5 billion for the next decade. And government and private sector participants are developing innovative ways to bridge this gap. This has increased the reliance.
Wait, did y'all see that traffic? Did y'all see that traffic? I didn't know they had traffic like that in Ghana. That traffic looked like New York traffic. That traffic looked like Cali traffic. That traffic looked like Georgia traffic. And those are some of the worst cities that you could have traffic in. I want you to pay attention to the what you see in terms of Ghana as a city, because that looks like an American location. That could be Vegas. That could be downtown Atlanta. Okay? Watch the infrastructure. Y'all, man, Ghana making moves. What are we doing over here? As a people, as a community, not as a country, but as a people, as a community who connects with the African in us. Let's go.
On project financing for the development of both privately funded infrastructure and public-private partnerships. Ghana's infrastructural foundation has transitioned rather progressively over the past 20 years, facilitating the nation's economic and developmental growth. The infrastructural base has seen significant investments, with projections portraying a continuous growth in the trend to align with the nation's set infrastructure goals. The past year has seen a renewed focus by the government and the private sector on infrastructure projects such as real estate investment projects, rail constructions, road expansion projects, among others. In this video, we will take a look at 10 game-changing mega projects set to reshape Ghana. Number 10. The Signature, Accra. The Signature by Cape May Properties are in a prime location close to the Kotoka International Airport, Accra Mall and Airport City. A gorgeous cluster of luxurious apartments infused into a pair of identical towers, located in the capital city of Ghana, Accra. The towering architectural masterpiece is unique in its design and art and conveys a message of strength and resilience, inspired by Ghana's Adinkra emblem. The renowned Micheletti Group, known for their outstanding work.
I wanted to pause on that. Everything about African spirituality is connected to God. There is nothing that is not divine. If you haven't been to Understanding African Spirituality on Saturdays at 2 o'clock, be there this weekend. Everything. So they're creating building structures that emulate the concept of their Ndinkra symbol of their country. Strength. Wow. Isn't that something? So realize that the building, even the building structures have sacred meanings. Everything about this is sacred, and look at the quality in which you see. This is not, and this is, again, this is not the return city. This is just regular city. So what quality are they building a return city in? Because the way that's looking, I saw the apartment. I might have to get a visit and get me a little place, a second house or something. Let's go.
With the 9-story One Airport Square complex, is responsible for the design and construction of the Signature, which commenced back in January 2019. The framework will constitute 209 studio apartments, with the property's starting price from $85,000 studio apartment to $350,000 for bedroom and penthouse apartment. The concept of the signature laces a sophisticated architectural spectacle with a number of resourceful amenities such as gyms, yoga, ballet spaces, poolside bars complementing a swimming pools, paired with an indoor and outdoor playground, and a conspicuous display of flora, while delivering a picturesque view of the city as the cream of the crop. The 13-floor signature apartments is estimated to cost around $50 million, and the constructions is set to be completed by mid-2021. The signature apartment is a finesse-styled, luxurious property equipped to deliver service point of view from a concierge service and an in-residence dining to a dedicated residential management team, offering unmatched customer service to its clients. Number 9. Pakuasi Interchange, Accra. The first four-tier interchange in West Africa is the Pakuasi Interchange, located on the Nsawam Road at Pakuasi Interchange, and forms a link to the George Walker Bush Highway. The construction of the $95 million project is funded by the African Development Bank and the Government of Ghana and is already on course to completion with about 85% of work reportedly done. Designed to fit into the Central Corridor Road Infrastructure Project, the interchange will link Accra to Nsawam, Oshi to Pakuasi, and Pakuasi to Kwabenya-Ritz Junction roads, and also the Terma motorway. There will be 8 lanes underneath the four-tier interchange, including some key features such as connecting roads, provisions for the mass rapid transit and rail transport expansion. The project is expected to ease the traffic congestions in parts of Accra when completed.
We're talking about
Number 8.
African of
Ghana
the
National
Year.
Cathedral, Accra. A religious physical emblem
Wow.
symbolizing the strong
He
faith
is
and
the
harmony of
African
a
of
proud
the Year.
Ghanaian nation. The one-off 21st century National Cathedral stems a tributary of religion, heritage, and democracy. It has been perceived to serve as a sanctuary for reflection, reorientation, and inspiration, meanwhile function as a revered ground where God and nation fellowship. The new temple will circumference a congregation of chapels, an impressive atrium, a giant auditorium with a 5,000-seat capacity, a rehearsal center for choirs, and a music school among others. The design of the cathedral reflects the art and culture of Ghanaian ethnic groups. The high-pitched and staggered roof is reminiscent of Akan-inspired architecture, and the facade will be concave and decorated with timber in imitation of Ashanti royal stools. The architect for the project is the British-Ghanaian architect David Adjaye, who also designed the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. The construction, which began in March 2020,
An African architect. We are definitely understanding why he is selected the African of the Year. The Ghanaian president, with all of these building. Now, we talked about him as an individual. We talked about the Pan-African movement. We talked about the comeback return city. Look at what he's doing throughout the country, developing infrastructure, culture. You know, we know civilization is a advanced civilization is anybody who can express themselves via religion, culture, behavior, attitudes, everything. Woo! He's creating Ghana into a deep, advanced civilization. Wow. Where they're going to control all their own resources. Wow. And if you look at the infrastructure in terms of the building of the roads and the highways, one of the things that I have not talked about yet, and it's going to be an Afro Stream a focal point, is this trans-African, African trans highway or trans-African highway. I think it's a trans-African highway, where they're putting a highway in Africa that connects every country on the continent. Infrastructure. Wow. Understand that Pan-Africanism is going beyond just the Americans talking about it. Africans are talking about it too. Wow. So this is deeply, deeply important that y'all look at it. We are understanding if today we're talking about if Pan-Africanism had a face, today it'd be the president of Ghana. President Akufo-Addo. The one they call now the African of the Year. Let's go.
is expected to cost $100 million. Number 7. Abuchebi-Lamptey Interchange, Accra. Estimated to be worth an amount of $135 million, the three-tier interchange nestles at the Abuchebi-Lamptey Circle and will be great relief in easing heavy traffic congestion in the capital city of Ghana. Funding for the necessary road infrastructure was solicited by the incumbent President Nana Akufo-Addo's administration and assisted in its drive to realization by the export credit facilities from Spain and the UK. The redevelopment of the Abuchebi-Lamptey Circle in Accra into an interchange is to help ease traffic congestion on that corridor which links Kanashi, Graphic Road, Nkrumah Circle and Oboso Akai. The first phase consists of a two-tier interchange with storm drains and culverts beneath the Graphic Road. It will link the Kanashi market to the central business district of Accra and through a loop to the Kwam Nkrumah interchange area. The second phase involves the widening of the road into a three-lane dual carriageway with provision for bus rapid transit facilities. Number 6. Kumasi International Airport. The $300 million expansion of the Kumasi International Airport is nearing its completion. The second phase of the extension project began in 2018 and was inducted by President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. The project was embarked with the aim to promote tourism, particularly with the intensification of commerce and mining in the Ashanti region. The multi-modal transport airport has in the past been operating both Passion Air and Africa World Airlines, which could operate an estimate of 20 flights in a day individually. However, the extension of the runway to 2.3 kilometers from an initial 1.9 kilometers will increase its capacity to accommodate Boeing 737 and 800 series aircraft, as well as handle 1 million passengers yearly. The construction of the advanced two-story terminal with the inclusion of surplus aprons, coupled with a ring road, restaurants, shopping malls and car parks will transcend the face of this masterpiece on the domestic and global stage. The project is expected to be completed this year, making the airport the second international airport in Ghana.
Two international airports in Ghana. What? Two. And they said this one is supposed to be able to service, what, 1 million people a year? Two international airports in Ghana. And then they said if you was listening to the second phase, we're building our own airports. We're building our own planes. That's engineering. Infrastructure, construction, that's transportation. This is what Pan-Africanism looks like. We're going to prepare our country and then prepare a city for you. What? Understand that this a movement, y'all. This a movement. Ghana is just one country in the diaspora who is making a movement toward Pan-Africanism and building the infrastructure needed. Now, and I don't know if y'all was watching, if you weren't listening, they talked about agriculture and building and creating agriculture. And then a couple of weeks ago, we said that when we did the issue of investment in Africa, which is all over the continent, if you're going to invest in anything, there's a lot of things. Infrastructure was one, Blue, right? And then we also said agriculture. The next millionaires coming out of Africa is going to be agriculture. So if you remember the diagram of the return city, it had a farm. Now, with all of this and what they're expecting, they got to increase the production of food. Wow. You understand what's happening? Self-determination is what's happening. Self-determination is happening in these experiences, and I need you to feel that inside you. What will it mean to be a part of a people that is self-determined, where you get a true say on how you're treated? You don't have cops who come from a police force that has a history of being connected to hunting down slaves. The overseer becomes the officer, really? Where it is they were put together to police us and protect them. That's not this experience. In one conversation I was watching, it stated that we don't know what it's like to not know where we're from. Those in Ghana, the gathering. So we don't know what it's like to not know where we're from. We've always known where we were from, but we have individuals who are across the seas that don't. So let us continue building up our image in a global scale to make this enticing for them to come home. Watch what they're building. Watch what your home is looking like.
Number 5. Petronia City, Takoradi. Petronia City epitomizes a self-sustaining city whose blueprint incorporates climate-friendly retrofits, and modifications will be constructed to bridge the infrastructure gap in the western region of Ghana. The city will also provide a boost to the nation's economy. Owing to the unearthing of oil in the western region of Ghana, Petronia City vision is to be West Africa's premier business core, promoting services across the oil, gas, mining and financial incorporation. The community will foster relationships among apex conglomerates and allow for their infiltration and integration into the city. British multi-millionaire property developer Azad Kola and Ghanaian serial entrepreneur Nana Bediako established Capital 90, an investment company that is developing Petronia City. The 2,000-acre city development project aims to provide the first fully integrated business hub for West Africa's oil, gas and mining industries. The first phase of the project, estimated at $130 million, was inaugurated in October 2013, consists of a 70-acre prototype of the entire development, beginning with the construction of world-class basic infrastructure. The subsequent phases of development are distributed over a 10-year span. Once completed, the enormous city will accommodate about 30,000 residents and provide industrial, educational, recreational facilities, among others. Number
Before we get to number 4, and these are the just areas around Ghana that is being built. But before we get to number 4, wait. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be in the dark. Before we get to number 4, did y'all hear them say an African investment group? 2 people put together the money to build the city? What? With all these individuals that we have here, how hard it is for us to get an investment group together? Because we can't see what it looks like, what liberation looks like, what self-determination looks like. Why? Because we're a colonialized mind still, mark of slavery. They're shaking it off. Today we are talking about if Pan-Africanism had a face, it would be the president of Ghana, Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo. Ain't that something? Now do you understand why they gave it to him? Me too. Let's keep looking.
4. The Marine Drive, Accra. The $1.2 billion public-private partnership project will transcend the coastline of Accra that stretches from the Osu Christianberg Castle to the Arts Center into an ultra-modern, buzzing commercial area and business district, incorporated with facilities such as conference and exhibition centers and a 15-floored office complex, as well as tourist resorts, which will include amusement and water theme parks, hotels, playgrounds and beach soccer pitches, among others. The multi-billion establishment will be integral in unveiling the city to the rest of the world. It will also prove critical in alleviating the unemployment load of the nation by creating over 15,000 jobs once completed in 2030, notwithstanding the revenue that would be recouped from tourism. Number 3. The Accra SkyTrain Project. Exhibiting an advanced level of innovation at its best, the Accra SkyTrain will be the first of its kind ever to grace the continent of Africa. Reaching a concession, the Ghanaian government compromised on a deal with the African Investment SkyTrain Consortium to construct the $2.6 billion light railway network back in 2019 to align with the nation's ambition to resuscitate, upgrade and advance its defunct railway systems.
$2.6 billion upgrade on a sky tram. You know what our trains look like, right? In Atlanta it's MARTA. New York, look, I don't know how, if this was in New York, we would get up there to spray paint on the train. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. But understand the level of development that they have. If this is not the rise of the African, I don't know what it is. This is deep. And so this is just the pocket areas of the cities that they're building. Why? Because they are creating a movement where they're asking people to come home. And so for the people to come back, for people to be in Ghana and live in Ghana and work in Ghana and be a part of a African nation that is governed by itself, completely self-determined. They said we have to make it attractive enough for people to come home. I say, wow. I think that should happen all over the world. They should be triggering other individuals to do just the same. Let's go.
The SkyTrain has been envisioned to commute 5 routes, of which it will cover a total of 194 kilometers and will contribute immensely to easing the agonizing traffic congestion concerns in Accra. The feasibility studies for the projects has been successfully completed, and currently pending is the Ghanaian government approval for the next phase of the project. With a capacity to accommodate 380,000 people per day, the mass transit system will be a welcomed addition to the expanding list of amazing mega projects in Ghana. Number 2. Ghana Railway Redevelopment and Expansion. To improve transport and the logistic chain, and also accelerate economic growth, Ghana has outdoor a mega railway construction project to connect all the major cities and strategic mineral resource sites within the country. Most of Ghana's existing 947 kilometers predominantly colonial-era rail tracks are dilapidated, hence the government has outlined an ambitious 6-phase master plan for rehabilitating, expanding and building 4,675 kilometers of rail lines at a cost of around $21.5 billion. Of this sum, 1,394 kilometers of lines are designated priority projects and scheduled for completion before 2023 at a cost of $7.8 billion.
One of the things I have not done yet is that the roadway. They're building roads, but look at it. They're rebuilding railways. They're rebuilding infrastructure. What does it look like for an African country that holds one of the continent has all the resources it needs to take care of itself, and you never need to even deal with any imports? The exports, you can control your oil, you can control your gold, you can control your diamonds, you can control your rubber, you can control every resource this you have. What does that country look like? And it looks like the vision of Ghana has it. If Pan-Africanism had a face, wow, had a place, it'd be several places on the continent, but right now it's Ghana today. Isn't that something? We're gonna do one on Rwanda soon, but this is powerful. This is absolutely the infrastructure that they're building. We said that a African country in full control of all of its resources, and we also said that the reason why you have European countries coming more after to develop Africa is because they're coming. We don't know what it's like not to have a train system, not to have infrastructure or buses and roads. We don't know what it's like not to. They kept that continent down so that the continent could not take over the face of the planet in terms of its influence. Why? Because if you modernize Africa, Africa then begins to realize that they don't need colonialism. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm in the dark. I'm back in the dark. Africa doesn't need colonialism, and so we're going to make sure that Africa, the countries in Africa, making sure we are going to see what it's like to be governed by God and God alone. Meaning that we get to dictate who we are and whose we are and what we're to do with it. When you're building and connecting, they're doing what America did decades ago off of free labor. But guess what? They get paid for it. $1 billion enterprise. So there's work if you need work. You feel me? Me and my daughter was laughing and talking, and we were discussing it. What would it look like to be a part of to be able to go to a place where you are not, you can go out and the cops ain't looking at you crooked. You can walk down the street, ain't nobody looking at you funny or feel funny. You can go get a job and it's going to be about what you know, not what you look like. Ain't that something? Now, of course, we've made some strides in this country, but it's based off a human right. And so sometimes in our mindset, we believe that we're the only ones thinking like this, but we're not. What happened to black people was global. And the change that we're seeking now is global. Let's go.
The Ghanaian government has awarded contracts to various companies, and negotiations are ongoing for new contracts for other sections of the rail network. The Afghan infrastructure, which won the contract for the 100 kilometers rail line from Terma to Mpakadan, is expected to complete the construction work by the end of this year. China Railway Wuju Group is currently working on a 100 kilometers line between Manso and Dunkwa and another 100 kilometers line between Kumasi and Bechem. The 300 kilometers eastern line, which will connect Accra and Kumasi, the biggest cities in the country, has been awarded to the Ghana European Railway Consortium, and construction is expected to take off soon. Also, the 575 kilometers Trans-ECOWAS line to link Ghana's border towns Aflao and Alobo has been awarded to the Coastal Railway Network.
Let me make a statement about China, because there's going to be another after stream that deals with China. But again, those who just stepped in here watching, we're looking at why the president of Ghana, Akufo-Addo, was named the African of the Year. And we're looking at at him as an individual. We looked at the things that he's doing Pan African wise in terms of the diaspora. Now we're looking at what he's doing in his own country. Now, what I want to say in terms of that is when he said mention China and the rail system, China, they're not stupid. They are oppressors as well. They're not stupid intellectually. China wasn't a part of the European movement when they took over the continent and raped the resources. China was not in that. China China was just China, right? They weren't a part of that Europeanized group. Now, what China did over the years said, well, since we can't control the resources and European governments got that on lock, what we can do is control the land and infrastructure development. We can loan them money, right? So China is in the pockets of a lot of countries in Africa. China has built a lot of infrastructure in Africa. And so they the way they got China in their contracts, they got it written: if you don't pay us back, we own the land. We own those rails. And so you have to pay us back, and that would keep a country strapped. And so now in certain renegotiations, China's like, no, we're not renegotiating anything. And this is why certain areas, and this is not Ghana, this is Uganda. Uganda's going through that with China right now. We're going to talk about that during another after stream, right? And once I dig up some more information and some video on it, if I can get some video footage on it, then fine. But if not, it's just going to be a straight discussion. But they have taken a stronghold on the land itself, and so that's an issue that we have to pause. We got to move them out. Now, if you realize the other architects and the developers were African, but this particular railroad was a railroad that was already there, and they said, well, we can help you build on what we already have. So there's partnerships. But we got to make sure that whatever partnerships we have on a Pan-African level is done with the benefit of us. And so a lot of countries have been pushing China out. And I know in certain areas and certain companies, oil company kicked the Chinese engineers out in certain particular cities out of Ghana. And so, you got to be careful because they realized we left this place undeveloped. Now we can make tons and trillions of dollars if we allow them to catch up from where they are to where beyond where the world is. Ain't that something? Because I've seen air tram short distances, but never all over a city. Man, that's serious right there, right? We gotta take a look at what Pan-Africanism look like globally. Let's go. We got like 2 minutes left.
Number 1. Ghana Petroleum Hub Project. Since the discovery of oil and gas in commercial quantities in Ghana, the government has been working feverishly to ensure that the country fully benefits from the blessings of what has been described as black gold. One of the major projects is the development of a petroleum hub for the West African sub-region. According to the Ghana Ministry of Energy, the government's vision is the establishment of Ghana as a petrochemical hub to supply refined petroleum products. The aim is to meet the demands of the West African sub-region and eventually the entire continent, and further develop Ghana's petroleum downstream sub-sector. The petroleum refinery project, estimated at a cost of $60 billion, will be developed using the free zone concept on a 20,000 acres of land. Analysts say the $60 billion project will be the biggest private investment in Africa. The 20,000-acre petroleum hub will have 4 refineries with a cumulative capacity of 600,000 barrels per day, 2 oil jetties, 4 million capacity tank farms, and 2 petrochemical plants. The Ghanaian government is targeting a $1.56 billion in export tax revenue through the project, which is projected to create about 780,000 jobs and increase the country's GDP by more than half by 2030 when completed. An estimated $12 billion is planned for the first phase of the 3-phase project. The first phase currently underway comprises land valuation and compensation, followed by development of petrochemical plants, a refinery and tank farms. Completion of Phase 1 will make available a projected crude refinery capacity of 350,000 barrels per day and storage capacity of 1 million, with ancillary facilities and services scheduled for the second and third stages respectively.
Wow. That was a lot to unpack right there. That was something to unpack. They found what they call black gold. The government did. The new government. This is not something that a European has his hand on, right? They found black gold in Ghana. And so with that blessing, they said they want to make sure that the government gets every bit of benefit from finding this particular oil well or whatever, however it is, wherever they found oil from, right? Oh, we got Kwame saying something. Uh, Kwame, Kwame, I can't listen to you right now. I'm gonna take a look at it in a few minutes, brother, and I'll respond to you on the side. I'm gonna set it up next week so that I can actually see people who comment and it pops up and it goes across the screen. We're gonna work that out for y'all next week, especially those who are watching on the African Speaks or you're watching on the public group where it is the AfriStream public group. We're gonna make sure that you see all this. This is serious. When you have a country that controls its raw resources. So they said they're going to get the full benefit of their raw resources. And so you're talking about 780,000 jobs of people who can work. Why? Because we're creating our own petroleum brand. And they said we're hoping with what we created to supply the continent. They didn't just say the country. They said the continent of Africa. So ain't no import coming in. There's no petroleum coming from another government somewhere. No, we want to provide oil and energy and gas to the continent. Wow. Wow. You want to understand why they made this brother the African of the Year. Let's talk about it. AfriStream giving you a Pan-African perspective when it comes to international information. The question is, when do we get to see that leadership in us? Not leadership of individuals who have a title, but leadership when it comes to production. Wow. Remember how Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?" Yeah, what have we produced for black people lately? We're watching the development of a nation grow, the commitment of its people and its leadership who are focused with a vision. How does that charge you to do something in your community? How much does that charge you to sit down and allow your third eye to be opened? This is going to give me so much information for the African Speaks, because this is powerful. This is good. This is beautiful. Don't know, and I'm hoping you receive something from tonight's acknowledgement of the African of the Year. I'm hoping you receive something and why they're calling him the African of the Year, and why he humbly takes it on behalf of the people of Ghana, because it's the Ghanaian people who are allowing me to be in this position for a maximum of 8 years to get this vision out. Then I got to he gives thanks to the people that work around him, because they share the vision and they work from their God spirit. They're not do boys where they're being told what to do. No. They said, we breaking the chains of colonialism and I need you to handle you. And we just be accountable to each other. That's beautiful. And then he says, I hope that by the end of my term, I've made a stamp, I've made a mark, not just on my government, my country, but also the country, the continent of Africa, and the people of the African diaspora. We have something to look forward to. We have something to be proud of. That's who we are. It's a part of who we are. That's our family across the way, across the Atlantic, letting us know that they think about us and they're building on behalf of who we know that we are in God. We share a common identity, and I hope you were watching at the African Speaks when we talked about that, a shared identity, being African first, and everything else comes second. Let us build because God called us to build, not because it's cool or it's the fad, but because it's time for the world to see what it looks like when they can watch the rise of the African. And when you can allow the whole world to see that, and to see us develop, and to see us grow, and see us become somebody, man, there's going to be a generation that comes. There's going to be a generation that comes that produces a relationship without bounds, where we walk in every location where we see ourselves. We all one family, one people, with one fight, and that it is to see the God in us manifested in everything around us. This ain't about anger. This ain't about hate. This ain't about somebody giving you what you feel you deserve. This is about you being who God called you to be and producing what God called you to produce for the world to see. We are God's chosen. We are God's first. They didn't find life anywhere else but Africa, and they've been trying to keep it down. Make sure you come to see African history class on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Same place, the African Speaks. They didn't find life anywhere else. They tried. But the oldest form of life is in Africa. God gave us the planet. We already know scientifically you can't get another race from any other race. You can get all races from us. It's time that we make a decision to rise, because we're not, our brothers and sisters overseas are getting the job done. I say, yeah, let the African us stream. Let the African us rise. Let's get the job done. One love.